Welcome back to the garden here in Neath South Wales. Well, Tony and myself have got to nip out today. We've got to go to B&Q Garden Centre as I've got to pick up a bag of ericaceous compost. So while we're there, it would be rude not to have a look at some of the plants that they've got. So let's go and take a look. So we got the compost that we wanted and then off to look at the plants. The recent hot weather has definitely taken its toll. Some of these were quite dry and also reduced. But saying that, they also had plenty of colour there. Just look at the colour on these beautiful flowers here. Beautiful pinks and purples. Moving on, they also had some lovely agapanthus. I do love an agapanthus in the garden. We've got two of the fireworks, and as you can see, they're also a perfect magnet for the bees there. Now these I haven't come across before, and I loved the colour on these flowers, so much so I had to pop one of these into the trolley. Plenty of grasses on offer. These are really nice. Just look at the lovely colouring on them. Beautiful, a red barron. And plenty of carex grasses too, and these looked in quite good health, considering the weather that we've had. Now salvias, a red volcano here. I do love a salvia in the garden. I grow the amistad. And a Lake Como. I haven't seen this one before. Lovely colour blue on this. Again, just look at the bees surrounding this. Now this is one that I haven't got, a Salvia Amistad in the pink colour. So this one had to go in the trolley. They also had some lovely olive trees. I think these ones were £139, a good size. And they also had the larger ones there. Now these were huge and you can't really see it on camera, but these were £200, a good price for the size. So back home now, and you can see that I have replanted my Leucothaway plants. And hopefully now that they're in ericaceous compost, after the disaster with the chicken manure pellets, they should start to perk up. So the worst one, I think, had to be binned. But that one there, just tucked at the back. Hopefully now they'll perk up. And while I was rummaging around the garden, I came across this plant here. So I'm a bit unsure what it is. I can't remember. So I don't know if it's another Leucothaway. I don't think it is. So any ideas on that one? But it wasn't doing too well where it was, so I've just moved that into some better compost here. So I have popped the cosmos into a terracotta pot, and that does seem to have perked up a little bit. So I've trimmed off all of the old flowers, and hopefully now that should reward me with a lot more blooms now throughout the season. Apparently, if you keep deadheading these plants, they should just keep on flowering. And I've just placed the Salvia Amistad pink just down in the garden for a second while I decide where to plant it. And already there's a bee on it. Just look at that. Amazing sight. We haven't had many bees this year, but I think these salvias seem to be doing the job of bringing them into the garden. So while we were out, we also called into the shopping outlet at MacArthur Glen, and I treated myself to 3 pairs of Crocs. Now Tony absolutely hates these shoes, but I think they're wonderful, and I've now got about 5 pairs. So let me know what you think of the Crocs. Do you wear them or do you absolutely hate them? I think they are a little bit like Marmite. So I have spent most of the afternoon just tidying up the plants. You can see there that I have moved one of the Agapanthus fireworks into the full sun, as I had planted that underneath one of the Trachycarpus, so that should enjoy it there in the full sun. Beautiful plants. But everything is doing okay. Last night I did give the garden a really good drenching. We are lucky we haven't had a hosepipe ban here, not yet anyway, but the earth was so dry, and I actually went round every single plant and watered all of the root areas, because that's where the plant needs it. There's no point in watering above. You need to get right down in with the roots. So I have removed a few of the Carex grasses, as they hadn't done well at all. And just been around the garden, just trimming off any dead leaves, deadheading, spent flowers, and basically just general maintenance. But everything's looking great now, especially after that good water last night. And a little update on the Heucherella. Remember, this was the one that scorched in the sun. So I planted it in a little bit of shade, and it's perked right up again. Looking wonderful. So I am looking for a place now where I can plant my new pink salvia. And I think just underneath the new cordyline there, as that's in full sun there for most of the day. So I think I'll get that into the ground.
It works, isn't it?
Is it working?
Yeah, it had to be the battery.
Oh, there we are. So I borrowed this off my dad for a little bit of watering, just in case the hose pipe ban comes in. And this is a pipe that goes into just an ordinary watering can. So this little tool was about £47 on eBay, and it comes with 2 attachments. So one of them is more of a pinpointing and one is more of a fine spray. So as I said, it fits into a bucket of water or a watering can. And this, I managed to get one watering can to do a quarter of the garden, which took me about 5 to 10 minutes. So definitely worth considering if you've got a hosepipe ban in your area. So it's Sunday evening now, and it's actually been quite a bit cooler today than what we've been having lately, and it's been a real relief, to be honest. The sun hasn't been blazing quite so hot. So yesterday I had a fantastic day in the garden. We went out, did a little bit of plant shopping. I managed to get those plants into the ground and finally sort out my leucothoways. So the garden, after a good watering, is actually looking a lot better than it has been in the last few weeks. So let's take a look around now and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So everything now is looking a lot better. The salvia purple and bloom is finally starting to grow. It's not as big as it usually is, but it's getting there. So the roses, we don't have an awful lot on those this year. But the salvia, the pink salvia, I've planted just underneath the new cordyline there. So that should be in full sun. And the cordyline, the new one, is looking really good. So I'm really pleased now with the triangular bed. That's had a little bit of a tidy up. The plants have been watered again. And everything is looking real good. And just look at that John Phillips. Huge in the garden as usual. One of my favourites. The centre of the banana is still growing strong, and I think that is definitely going to be a flower or a fruit. There is definitely something coming out of the centre of that. So I have had a little trim down in the garden, and I've taken a few of the leaves off the bananas today, and also just tidied up the tetrapanax. So now you can walk quite freely underneath it. And the agapanthus fireworks, that's really doing well. And I just moved the other one yesterday, so that as you walk now around the corner, there's another one there that greets you with its long stalks. Just look at that. Beautiful plant in the garden. So these now will be lifted throughout the winter and they'll be dry stored. Just a little bit of water through the winter. No problems. I've split them once before and I may even do it again now this year. And if I just zoom in now over the other side of the garden, you'll see that the banana pups are doing really well. So we've got one there, and also there's a few just hiding at the back there. And Tony's agave, the avatifolia, that's really put on some size. It's still small, but it's definitely grown since it's been put in the garden. So that now over the winter will be left out, but it will be covered from the rainfall. And by moving a few grasses out of the garden, that has now made a few spaces ready for me to fill with something else. So just a quick little video today just to show you what we've been up to in the garden this weekend. And if you haven't already, please like, comment and subscribe. So until next time, I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.